Steve Gamache here with another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. And what we have this time is the Kohetsu HAP40 Western or Yo-handled Honesuki 150mm knife. If you've been on this site and you're looking around in this category, you know that these are Japanese boning knives. They're kind of used mostly for prepping poultry, but you can use them for a lot of other tasks, and they can be quite versatile in the kitchen, pro or otherwise. The construction on these is 3 layers, and the hardcore cutting edge steel is known as HAP40 semi-stainless. It is a very hard steel. Around Chef Knives to Go, Mark kind of, in the forums, they kind of coined this voodoo steel because the edge just would not quit on him, and when he tested out the prototype, and so this steel is known for very high edge retention. You can see it's quite hard at 65 Rockwell. That means it's not the world's most forgiving steel, but what you get is it's still fairly tough, and you get a lot of return in edge retention. It's really not that hard to sharpen if you've got stones that are decently aggressive cutting, so it's not crazy to sharpen like some steels are, so you have really a pretty good combination there. The construction does have soft stainless cladding on either side of that hard semi-stainless core steel. In practice, you'll find that on these lines of knives, typically that soft stainless cladding is kind of a semi-stainless sort of. You might get some patina, some discoloration on it. That's kind of normal for these lines, so don't, be surprised that may happen to you a little bit. You could clean it off, periodically if you wanted to, with various methods used to do that. The weight and dimensions on these knives can vary just a tiny bit, but not too much on this line. This particular one is 138 grams or 4.9 ounces. The edge length is right about 5.5 inches, 140 millimeters. And the overall length is about 10.1 inches. These aren't super thick at the spine, but they're pretty stiff, and you want a stiff, kind of a stout blade for this type of purpose, so this is generally the characteristic of these knives. This particular one is about 1.9 millimeters thick coming out of the bolster, and I got about 1.75 halfway down, and then you can see it gets a little bit of taper as we go down, and then turns that corner for the tip. And then the tip's not super skinny. You don't generally want these too delicate because you're going to put them through joints typically and then do some work around bone. So that's pretty normal for this type of knife. This is a double bevel Honesuki knife, so it is not a single bevel like some of them are, which are oriented around particular right hand or left hand use. So it makes it easy to use, very versatile. Blade height is about 36.6 millimeter at the heel. And again, this is a fairly stiff, stout blade despite not being super thick. Let's see, handle is rosewood colored paca wood, I think is what really is on here. It's a stabilized wood product. A lot of times you see black paca wood. So this has a kind of a nice warm color to it. We do have a full stainless tang and stainless rivets and an integrated stainless bolster that flows right into the blade, the main blade. So really nice packaging, looks cool, and is a nice fit and finish on here, very sturdy. You can see the handle's kind of rounded here, the general style for this type of knife. What else? Let's balance this. It's going to be pretty far back. That's kind of normal for this style. We're not expecting anything weight forward, so there's your balance point. The out of the box edge, they generally have pretty sharp edges on these, so this will give it a 6, maybe 7 out of 10 on my scale, so they're quite sharp out of the box. Let's see, I guess let's get our beauty shot. Starting to get some fingerprints on there. So this has some embossed kanji on the right side. You can see the machine finish here. You can see a cladding line. It's a little tough to pick up, but there is a cladding line there. A little bit of a wavy cladding line. A little tricky to pick up in the light. It's even not that easy to spot in person, so it takes a little bit of extra work here to see it, but there you can go. That's probably a pretty good a shot as any of that cladding line. So this is the left side of the blade if you'd be using it. It is plain. You can see the convex grind down towards the edge. So they've relieved a little bit of the corners of the spine. They've done a little bit of work back here, so it's very comfortable out of the box, and these babies are ready to go. I'll throw this on the board. You generally don't do a lot of board work with these, although you could use it in a pinch. If it's handy, generally you get a pretty flat profile, so you could chop a little bit with this. It's not super thick like some of those single bevel types, so you could, do some kind of utility work in a pinch with this thing, and it might actually do a really good job at that. So some people, multitask these things, which is always a cool idea. But that's what it looks like on a board if you want to do a little bit of work with it. So if you're looking for something with really high edge retention that will do a great job in this particular task and some other general purpose tasks, it's a neat knife. So this is that spec off there. This is the Kohetsu HAP40 Western Honesuki 150mm knife.